The text message arrives, "Hey, party at my place Saturday night," and immediately your stomach tightens. As an introvert, your brain starts calculating, how long will I need to stay? How exhausted will I be afterward? Is there any way to get out of this without damaging the friendship? If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. For many introverts, parties and social gatherings feel like energy-draining marathons we're not trained for. But here's the thing. You don't need to avoid parties completely or pretend to be an extrovert to navigate them successfully. I'm an introvert who spent years developing strategies to interact at social events without complete energy depletion. Today, I'm sharing my most effective techniques for not just surviving parties, but occasionally even enjoying them, all while honoring your introvert nature. We'll cover 3 key areas: preparation before the party, strategic interaction during the event, and recovery afterward. These approaches work whether it's a small gathering with friends or a larger event with many strangers. Let's transform parties from dreaded energy vampires into manageable social experiences that might even add value to your life. Your successful party navigation for introverts begins long before you arrive. Let's talk about strategic preparation that sets you up for social success. First, implement what I call the energy banking technique. Just as you wouldn't run a marathon without rest days before, don't go to a party with an already depleted social battery. Deliberately schedule downtime in the 24 to 48 hours before the event. This might mean declining other social invitations, minimizing meetings at work, or creating blocks of solitude. Think of it as making a deposit into your energy account so you have something to withdraw during the party. Second, use the time boundary technique. Decide in advance exactly how long you'll stay and stick to it. Having a predetermined exit time dramatically reduces anxiety because you know there's an end point. I recommend starting with a 90-minute commitment for most parties. This is long enough to meaningfully engage, but short enough to prevent complete energy depletion. You can always stay longer if you're enjoying yourself, but having this boundary gives you permission to leave when needed. Third, prepare your exit strategy in advance. This eliminates the awkwardness of trying to figure out how to leave when you're already socially exhausted. Some effective exit lines include, "I've got an early morning tomorrow, but I'm so glad I could come for a bit," or "I have another commitment tonight, but I wanted to make sure I stopped by." Practice your exit line before you go so it feels natural when you use it. Fourth, use the conversation preparation technique. Have 3 to 5 open-ended questions or topics ready that you're genuinely interested in discussing. This prevents the dreaded moment of mental blankness when someone asks what you've been up to. Some reliable options include asking about recent travels, books or shows they've enjoyed, or projects they're excited about. The key is choosing topics you actually care about, which makes the conversation more energizing than depleting. Finally, consider using the +1 strategy if possible. Having a trusted friend or partner who understands your introvert needs can make parties significantly easier to navigate. Ideally, this person knows when you need rescue from conversations that are draining you and can help facilitate introductions to people you might connect with. They can also provide a buffer during high-energy parts of the gathering. With these preparation strategies in place, you'll arrive at the party with more confidence and less anxiety. Now let's talk about how to interact effectively once you're there. Now that you've arrived at the party with your social battery charged and your exit strategy planned, let's explore how to interact effectively while you're there. First, implement strategic positioning, where you physically place yourself at a party significantly impacts your energy, expenditure, and comfort level. Avoid the center of crowded rooms or the middle of large groups where sensory input is highest. Instead, position yourself at the edges of the gathering, perhaps near a wall or in a quieter corner. This reduces the sensory overload that quickly depletes introvert energy. Another effective positioning strategy is to find activity stations like the food table, game area, or kitchen. These locations provide natural conversation topics and a purpose for being there beyond just socializing. Second, master the quality over quantity approach to interactions. Many introverts make the mistake of trying to meet everyone or participate in every conversation, quickly burning out their social battery. Instead, aim for 2 to 3 meaningful conversations rather than 20 surface-level interactions. Look for smaller groups of 2 to 3 people having more in-depth discussions rather than larger, high-energy groups. How do you find these deeper conversations? Look for other people on the periphery, and they're often introverts or thoughtful extroverts who enjoy more substantial interaction. Also, observe body language. People with more relaxed postures and who aren't constantly scanning the room are typically more open to deeper conversation. Third, use the conversational threading technique to move beyond small talk without being awkward. This is perhaps the most valuable social skill for introverts. When someone mentions anything, even in passing, that seems interesting or meaningful, gently pull on that thread rather than moving to a new topic. For example, if someone mentions they just returned from a trip, instead of just saying, "That's nice," and changing subjects, ask what the most unexpected part of their experience was. This technique works because it follows natural conversational flow while gradually moving toward more meaningful territory. It doesn't feel forced because you're building on what the other person has already expressed interest in. Fourth, implement social micro-recovery throughout the event. Don't wait until you're completely drained before taking a break. Brief recovery moments throughout the party help extend your overall social endurance. Some effective micro-recovery techniques include taking a short bathroom break even if you don't need to, offering to help in the kitchen for a few minutes, stepping outside for some fresh air, or spending a few minutes petting the host's dog or cat. These 2 to 5 minute breaks can reset your social battery enough to continue engaging. Think of them as interval training for your social energy, short recoveries that allow for longer total engagement. Fifth, use the helping hand strategy. Volunteering to help with small tasks at the party gives you a purpose beyond socializing and can actually reduce social anxiety. Offer to refill drinks, arrange food, or help clean up something. This gives you natural movement throughout the space, one-on-one interactions with purpose, and short breaks from pure socializing. Many hosts deeply appreciate the help, creating positive social connections without draining conversation. With these interaction strategies, you can engage meaningfully at the party while preserving your energy. Now, let's talk about how to recover effectively afterward. Even with the best in party strategies, social events will still require energy expenditure for introverts. Let's talk about how to recover effectively afterward. First, schedule what I call intentional recovery time. Don't make the common mistake of booking other social activities the day after a party. Block off time specifically for recharging your social battery. For smaller gatherings, you might need just a few hours the next day. For larger events or multiple day social situations like weddings or conferences, you might need a full day of minimal social interaction. Put this recovery time on your calendar as a non-negotiable appointment with yourself. Treat it with the same importance as any other commitment. Second, use active recovery rather than passive scrolling. Many introverts make the mistake of spending their post-social recovery time on social media, which actually continues to deplete mental energy rather than restoring it. True recovery for introverts typically involves activities that engage your mind without requiring social processing. This might include reading, creative pursuits, nature walks, meditation, or immersion in a hobby. These activities actually accelerate your energy restoration compared to passive consumption of content. Third, implement experience processing to integrate social learnings. Take a few minutes to reflect on the party experience, not to overthink or ruminate, but to identify what worked well and what you might adjust next time. Ask yourself, which interactions felt energizing rather than depleting? Which strategies worked best for me? Did I honor my boundaries effectively? This reflection helps you refine your approach for future social events. I find it helpful to note 1 to 2 positive social moments from the gathering. This builds a more balanced perspective on social events rather than focusing only on the challenging aspects. Fourth, use connection consolidation for relationships worth developing. If you met someone interesting at the party, consider following up with a one-on-one interaction in a setting more conducive to introvert energy. Many introverts build their most meaningful relationships by transitioning from group settings to individual connections. A simple message saying you enjoyed talking about a specific topic and would love to continue the conversation over coffee can transform a party from an energy drain into a valuable networking opportunity. These recovery strategies ensure that social events don't leave you depleted for days afterward. With practice, you'll develop your own personalized recovery routine that works best for your specific introvert needs. Now let's address some specific challenging situations that introverts often face at parties, along with strategies to handle them effectively. First, the trapped-in conversation dilemma. We've all experienced being stuck in a conversation that's draining our energy with no clear exit path. The most effective escape technique is what I call the bridge and exit. Instead of abruptly leaving, which feels uncomfortable for most introverts, bridge to a reason for moving on, then exit. For example, it's been great hearing about your trip to Italy. I promised myself I'd try some of that dessert before it's gone. Would you excuse me for a bit? Other effective bridges include offering to get a drink for yourself or them, needing to check in with someone, or using the restroom. The key is delivering these lines warmly while already making a small movement to signal your transition. Second, the awkward silence fear. Many introverts worry about conversational lulls, but silence is only awkward if you make it awkward. Instead of panicking or filling the space with nervous chatter, try the comfortable pause approach. Simply smile slightly, maintain relaxed body language, and use the moment to either formulate a thoughtful question or allow the other person's space to continue. Counterintuitively, being comfortable with brief silences often makes you seem more confident and thoughtful rather than awkward. Most conversations naturally ebb and flow, and a few seconds of silence is completely normal. Third, the large group conversations challenge. Many introverts find it particularly draining to participate in conversations with groups larger than 3 to 4 people. In these situations, use the selective engagement approach. Rather than trying to follow and respond to everything, which quickly depletes energy, allow yourself to listen more than speak. Choose carefully when to contribute, focusing on quality insights rather than quantity of participation. Remember that good listening is actually valued in group conversations. You don't need to compete for airtime to be remembered positively. Fourth, the unexpected introduction situation. Having someone suddenly introduce you to several new people at once can be overwhelming. Use the focus and anchor technique. Instead of trying to connect meaningfully with everyone at once, impossible for most introverts, focus on one person initially. Ask them a question that allows others to listen and potentially join in, giving you time to adjust to the expanded social circle. For example, if introduced to 3 people, you might focus on one and ask, "How do you know the host?" This creates a natural conversation that others can contribute to without requiring you to manage multiple new connections simultaneously. Finally, the energy crash emergency. Sometimes, despite your best efforts, you hit a wall where your social battery is completely depleted mid-event. In these situations, it's completely acceptable to use the honest minimalism approach. Find the host or the person you're closest with and simply say, "I've had a lovely time, but I need to head out now." No elaborate explanations required. Most people respect straightforward communication delivered with warmth. If you're concerned about perception, you can follow up the next day with a message expressing how much you enjoyed the gathering. These strategies for challenging situations complete your Introverts toolkit for navigating parties effectively. Now let's wrap up with some final thoughts on balancing social engagement with introvert needs. We've covered comprehensive strategies for introverts to navigate parties before, during, and after the event, as well as techniques for handling specific challenging situations. Remember that being an introvert at parties isn't about transforming into an extrovert. It's about engaging authentically while honoring your natural energy patterns. With practice, these strategies become more natural and require less conscious effort. You'll develop your own personalized approach based on your specific introvert tendencies and social preferences. The goal isn't to become the life of the party, it's to connect meaningfully with others while maintaining your well-being. Success might mean having one great conversation rather than interacting with everyone present. It's also important to be selective about which social events you attend. Not every invitation requires a yes. Choose gatherings that align with your interests or offer potential for meaningful connection, and politely decline those that don't. Finally, remember that your introversion is a strength, not a limitation. Your capacity for deep listening, thoughtful conversation, and genuine connection are valuable qualities that can actually enhance social gatherings. If you found these strategies helpful, hit subscribe for more introvert-friendly approaches to personal growth. In the comments, let me know which of these techniques you plan to try at your next social event. Remember, you can honor your introvert nature while still engaging meaningfully with others. It's not about becoming more extroverted, it's about becoming a more strategic introvert.